Hi, everybody. I wanted to try and do something a little bit different with our next discussion board activity, our next discussion forum. And I wanted to try and work in groups a little bit. I think it's very important that all of you get to voice your opinions on the discussion forum and to have that back and forth between you and other students and getting my feedback as well. And I think that with the 25 students that we have in class, sometimes the threads might get too long, or that there are students who tend to only jump at the very end and kind of not benefit from the whole interactive process, and also their opinion doesn't register as much. And so using a group activity, which I'll explain in a minute, we should be able to get a little bit of that interactions among all of you. Working in groups should be helpful because you are not going to cover the entire material. You are going to be focusing on only part of the material, and then you can benefit from other students focusing on their own specific area that I will assign to them. So it's better to digest in small parts. It also hopefully will increase a bit of the interactivity and help you see what other people, or how other people more specifically, agree or disagree with the way that you are thinking about an item. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a jigsaw activity. And a jigsaw activity, as you see here, is an activity, in this case a discussion, a case discussion, where we break into groups and each group focus on one part and one part only. And then at the end, we pull it all together and we pull the jigsaw puzzle pieces back into the whole. And so we're first going to try that with our case discussion about case 317, the one about the gender quotas in Afghanistan. Right, again, it's a case study like I explained before for case 327, and like you read, this will be the third case that you're already dealing with. An information-rich environment that's also kind of not so rich when it comes to analysis. And this is where you step in, and this is how we are going to interact and try to understand exactly what is going on there. I will break you into groups, and what I'm going to do is that this is going to be partially random, but also I now have a record, and I can see who are the students who are more active and who are the students who are less active when it comes to the discussion board. And so I'll try to make sure that each team has a good mix of students who are regularly more active and those who are regularly less active. And so hopefully that would balance the interaction across all groups. At the end of this discussion forum activity, I would also post like a 1-minute survey, and I'll appreciate if you can fill it or complete it, and it would focus specifically on your experience with the group, with working within a group, and how does that work in this asynchronous online environment. And so what will happen is that I will assign you into group. I will post the group breakdown. Each one of you will know which group they belong to. And each group will have its own thread in the discussion forum. Each thread will have its own prompt. So I will take the case study discussion, break it into threads like I did with the case about the ICC. But instead of letting you choose which thread you are replying to, I will assign you to that, you and your group. I expect that each group member would have at least 2 posts within your designated thread. But as a group, I also encourage you to try and keep the discussion alive and moving forward. Now, those discussion threads are still open for the rest of the class to review, so everybody can read the threads, and I encourage all other students to review the other threads, but only group members are allowed to post in it. So in other words, and just to make things very clear, if you are not part of that group, please don't post on their thread. Leave that to those group members. When we get close to the end of this discussion forum, about 2 days prior to that, I will open up an additional thread to help us all put the case discussion from the different groups together. And so I hope you will enjoy that activity and that small group interaction. And if you have any questions or concerns, just let me know.